Welcome back to the channel. On today's video, I thought I'd give you a new loadout of my tap bag. So this is a tool roll from a company called Atlas 46. And yeah, I fancied a bit of a change than your normal generic tool bags. And the reason why I was drawn to this is that it sits flat. So like I said, I do a lot of taps daily and weekly. I wanted something which I could throw on top of a kitchen counter and also lie down on the floor, which I can just dip in and out. I didn't really worry about organization too much, but I'm able to group different types of tools together so I know exactly where things are. And then obviously after I use it, I just basically put it straight back in and we're good to go. So Atlas 46 like to do a lot of customization with their stuff. Like I said, they're an American brand and they specialize in canvas. So because this is made of full canvas, it is lightweight and it won't scratch any surfaces. We've got a carrying handle, so obviously to carry it in and out, and then we got a strap that goes up over the top and keeps it all together. So let's have a quick rundown of it so you can see exactly what I carry inside. There is one new tool that you'll find in this set that I have for you to see today, and it basically accompanies the Nerad Tapex kit to make things super easy. And this one, I don't think you've seen it before, but it will get me out of the mess in different situations. So we're going to start with going from this side to that side. You'll see on the front of here they do little straps which you can label up. So if you want to get it to know exactly where things are, you can label it and sort of move them around, which I think is quite cool. Like I said, a lot of customization. We have big zippers with cord on it, and they also have the zippers in different situations. So on here you have the zipper on the top and on the bottom, and that is so that this tool roll could basically hang up and you can still use it without all the bits coming out. So if it's hung up, you would use the top zippers. If it's led down, I like to just use the ones that are closest to me in this position. I think that's pretty cool. There's a lot, like I said, you can use this for lots of different things, but I just thought for taps, this is perfect. This is my one-stop bag that I take into the job, and that's whether I'm repairing them, installations, and even cut and pipe work and fit in isolation valves. So the first compartment which I got, I basically keep my tap reseating kit in. We've got a few washers, so I carry just a little bag of assorted washers in there. We've got rubbers, fibers, and also some adapters to go from bevel to flat face. We have my tap reseating kit. So obviously when you reseat taps, you want to be able to grind a nice face down onto it, as water mains just cuts a groove straight through the brass. I don't know how it does it, but it does it pretty well. So what you have to do is basically take the head off, insert this in, and then sort of give it a good grind. Now because this handle is quite small, it's pretty hard to do with your fingers like this, can get a little bit tedious. So what I like to use is a Wera ratchet and T handle that fits in a top with a little bit, and then I'm able to do it up like this. You can't attach a drill, but you need to be careful. You need to hold it in this part here, as this can bind. When it binds down hard, there's no stopping it. It will literally just turn the tap round, and if it's on a hard pipe, it can cause it to leak or just make it super loose. So yeah, I just keep like a few little tap bodies in there, little bits of hardware to do up the monoblocks, and also a couple of spare cutting wheels in that. So yeah, that's basically my tap reseating section in here. The next one we got is my box spanners. So I do a lot of single taps still. This day and age, we repair and fit single taps on sinks, where you've got two separates, hot and cold, and they come with basically a back nut, and then you put a tap connector up onto them. So we need to be able to get at that back nut and also the tap connector. So this is the Nerad Tapex kit. You might have seen it in a couple of videos before, but this one you basically use with your hand. It slides up the flexies like that, and then you can do them up, which I think is quite cool. I keep lots of different sections of that in this bag, as they come in all different sizes, and also your generic box spanner. So before you'd use one of them, you'd probably start off buying yourself a set of these. So these basically, you take the flexies off or the connector away, move it to the side, and this goes straight up on the tap thread, gets onto the back nut, and you can just either do it by hand or put a pair of grips on it if you really want to. Now this one is mainly sized up for the plastic nuts, so this is one from Monument, and I've actually had to purchase another one which is good for the small little brass sizes. The materials have got a lot worse over the years, and they're just made smaller and thinner, and they are quite hard to get hold of. So yeah, I keep 2 different sizes of these, and then I got a basin wrench head, which is what you might have seen if you've been in the game for a while. Typically spring loaded, goes on and you connect on, and you can basically loosen it and tighten it. I just find that this head here can be quite wide in fitting in tight sinks, which is where these ones work best because they take up a lot less surface area. So yeah, I always keep one of these just handy just in case, as well as because it connects up onto my ratchet in sockets as well. So yeah, it doesn't take up any more space, but I keep it in my bag. So that's that section, which is all about box spanners. The middle one is for my monoblocks. So this is the Nerad Tapex extension kit. So you get the little handle here with the long reach socket. So that goes in there like that. And then you can do this up by hand. If you want to use a ratchet, they do come with a ratchet in the normal kit. But this is the new tool that I found. So I'll show you it in this form. So it's basically a normal ratchet. As your normal as you go, you can reverse it by flipping the head over here. I do wish that they did have a little switch that allows you to do it, but I can only assume that there's a reason why they couldn't add it. Might be because the handle here actually turns as well. So normally a typical operation would be going left to right like this, but if you can't get that movement, if you're tight in an area and you can't swing the handle around, what this handle does is it actually turns the head. What I'll do is I'll just put this piece on, and when you turn the handle, you can see here that the head turns as well. And it doesn't matter whether you turn it back, it still turns in the same direction. So yeah, I can just basically go back and forth and this will turn it. Now what I think that this is good for, and I have actually used it, is if I'm tight in spaces between 2 little bits, I can't get that motion to do the normal ratchet in. So I think that's going to be really good, as we normally find ourselves in between pipes or flexes or even waste pipes, or between the sink and the unit itself. So yeah, that has actually worked in my favor, and I think it's going to continue doing so. And I thought that that was a pretty cool tool to get. The little bit that goes over the top is basically to make it a lot easier for when you put this on here like that, when you loosen a tap, it can basically get loose really quickly. Obviously, it's only going to be the first little bit that you unloosen or tighten and it goes tight or loose. But you want to be able to do it by hand, and that is where this sort of scenario just got a little bit tedious for me. Your hands are in a bit of a rough area to be able to do it, and I just wanted something a bit more bulkier to be able to make it a little bit easier. So that is where this adapter goes over the top, and then yeah, I can basically get onto it nice and easy using my fingers. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Little new addition to my set. And then obviously we have the Tapex kit here, which is like an extension, so that goes up over the top, and then you can pull it down and that goes up to different heights. It's a lot easier to tighten and loosen taps being your hand low down in the unit rather than being super up high, as there's generally not a lot in your way lower down. So yeah, that's where this one and its long length comes in handy. The next section across is going to be my consumable sort of type section, where I keep my jointing compound paste. So when I'm changing valves, I basically repaste the olives up, and yeah, that's why I keep this one. This one is a fluctuator tool which is loaded with Blue Monster paste. I normally either use that or Jet Lube. Jet Lube is probably more well known in the UK. The Blue Monster is more the American stuff, and I thought I'd give it a good test. So we also keep some silicone grease in there. I keep my little cutter for cutting pipe work, and then I have a chisel for undoing basket strainer waste, as obviously I'm doing a lot of taps, a lot of wastes come into that sort of work with it. I keep just a little small Wera Allen key set, as well as a couple of sizes of open-ended Joker ratcheting spanners. So we've got a 15 and a 17, and these are mainly used for tap bodies getting out of the taps, as it is a lot easier to use specific sizes in wrenches than using adjustables, as because they have a little bit of play in them, what happens is you can round off that head quite easy. And the last section basically is just a tool section where I keep a screwdriver. So this is another tool from Dean, which is a screwdriver, but I'm able to basically turn the handle around and make it into a pistol grip. Something a little bit more ergonomic, I think. Probably saves you from using your wrist in this direction, where you can move it into here. So yeah, I thought that was a little bit different. It does have your bit holders as well in the bottom, so I can keep some bits in here. What I did find was that this one actually came with a bit which has a hex. I don't know if you can see it. It has a hex as well as a 1/4 inch drive. Now, you don't normally see them very often, but what that basically allowed me to do is basically I could use this as a ratchet for those box spanners as well if I really wanted to. So yeah, a lot of this kit sort of works within itself to be able to customize and get myself over whatever situation I find myself in. So we keep a screwdriver. I got a super small ratchet from Wera, so this is the small Cyclops. This is pretty cool if I'm finding space even worse. I can basically use this small one either in this way round, or I can turn it and get 90 degrees, and I just got a bit holder in there. So if I want to do screws or toilets, sometimes it's hard to get the screws out on toilets where you're pinned in the side. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And then for the grips, I always keep a pair of 180 ES Cobras, as well as the Knipex twin grips. So when I'm holding ball affix valves, it's a lot easier to hold them straight on rather than on an angle with a pair of grips, as you'll find yourself basically in this situation where instead of being like over here, and you can find yourself hitting the sides of units, it's 10 times easier to hold the valve straight on through, and then you can get your spanner in. It's honestly, that's been one of the game-changing tools that I've had recently. It's those twin grips, and I use them a lot. I keep a couple of open-ended spanners. So we've got a 23mm, we've got a 24, which I'm not going to show too much as that's a new tool coming out. And then we have a couple of adjustables. We've got the old 6-inch wide boy Baco with a slim jaw. So if I'm struggling to get tap bodies out with small amounts of thread sort of showing, then you can slide this underneath the tap head. And then I also got a brand new wrench from Lobster. So this is pretty cool. The movement on these is super nice. They're from Japan. I'm really starting to like the Japanese tools. And then I just keep a Wera plier wrench as well for holding all nuts and stuff. I really like this tool. You've seen it a lot on the channel. And yeah, it's been a really good tool for me. So that's all the sections of the main part of the tool roll. We also have a really big zipper either side. So it's here. Try and fold it over so you can see. So it's here. So this opens up, and it does actually have space for individual wrenches, but what I keep in here is basically my foldable bucket from the blower. So whenever I'm cutting pipework or I'm doing taps with water in it, I have the ability to be able to just pull a storage container out wherever I want, and it will fit exactly where I need it to catch all the water. So yeah, that was my updated video on my tool roll from Atlas 46. Like I said, I just fancied something a little bit different, and that is why I've decided to go for a more canvassy flat bag, which holds only what I need to try and keep the weight down when I'm going in and out of jobs. I'll leave whatever I can, links it down below in the description, but let me know what you think about this, and yeah, I'll see you on the next one.